Some of the major mistakes I've done in my bodybuilding career and why you should not do them. We're going to talk about five major things I've written here. First one is going to be steroids, androgens, fat burners, whatever you want to call them, enhancement in general. Next one will be training and cardio, then nutrition, then recovery and supplements, and at the end, posing. What mistakes I've done in my posing. If you're a bodybuilder and you're a female athlete, if you're a wellness competitor, this is going to be interesting for you. First one, enhancement. You need to understand that it doesn't matter what type of enhancement you're on, either you're a male or female, there's going to be a price to pay. I've done fat burners, I've done clenbuterol and ephedrine, I've done a lot of androgens, anavar, primobolan, and other ones I'm not gonna mention because girls start having ideas in their head what they should be taking. I've done growth hormone. I haven't tried any of the new peptides out there. Everybody's crazy about peptides right now. No, they weren't that popular when I stopped taking. I stopped taking in at the end of May of 2024. So we are almost 3 years clean. Next year will be 3 years. And peptides were not that popular back then, but I've done growth hormone a lot, I think 2 or 3 years, almost without stopping it. And when it comes to enhancement, my current opinion is yes, of course, it's not that bad. It's not all bad. I'm not saying that people shouldn't take steroids, but the price you're paying should be worth it. If you're a top athlete and you're making your money out of competing, you're a sponsored athlete, you're Olympia level or a very good pro level athlete, of course, if the price you're paying, especially as a female, the side effects you're gonna have eventually, yes, you might not have all of them. There are a lot of pro athletes that don't even have a change in their voice, but there will be something, whether it's a health issue or a side effect. So there will always be a price. And my opinion is if you're doing it when you're at a regional level and you're trying to compete in your country, you haven't even taken a pro card, for me, it's not worth it. This is why the path I'm taking right now is a natural one. I cannot say I'm natural, I've taken PEDs, of course, but I would like to do MPC naturals, see where it goes, and then once I have my family, once I have kids, know that if my career is still going strong, I would probably be okay with taking some small amounts of androgens again. But again, this is a very, very futuristic, we don't know what's gonna happen. And for me, girls that are 16, 17 years old taking PEDs, even like I saw that girls in fit model are taking PEDs, which is like really, really crazy. You don't need that. You need consistency. You need the right training, the right nutrition, which we're going to talk about right now. But PEDs are not the way to get a pro card and to be competitive because you need all other things lined up and perfectly optimized before you start taking drugs. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about training and cardio. I've done a lot of bad things. And in these cases, when you're training a lot and you're doing a lot of cardio, if you're enhanced, you will probably be better off taking androgens and taking PEDs because you will literally run your body down into the ground if you're not taking steroids. I've done two strength workouts a day. I've done 2 hours of cardio, all of this combined. I didn't have rest days. On my rest days, I was doing 2 hours of cardio. And these were, of course, some of the protocols were from my past coach and they were his idea. But again, I take full responsibility both for the steroids and for the way I was training, the way I was eating, the way I was living, because I didn't do any research. When I did my research and I finished J3 University, I found out that I'm doing things I shouldn't be doing. I'm taking things I shouldn't be taking. So I changed my path. But when I started with him, I didn't know these things. So when it comes to training and cardio, you need to understand that less is more. Yes, of course, if you're enhanced, your recovery will be much, much better than somebody that's not taking drugs. But again, doing 2 hours of cardio means one thing: you are not ready to do prep. If you need to do 2 hours of cardio, this means you had a lot of fat on your body, which means your off season was not optimal. And two strength workouts a day is completely unnecessary. With the coach I'm working right now, we are doing 2 days on, 1 day off, and we're rotating, of course, upper lower, upper lower. But I used to do two strength workouts in the morning. I would do quads and glutes. In the evening, I will go for hammies and calves. The next day will be upper body again, two strength workouts with 2 hours of cardio. I didn't do cardio when I had leg day, but again, I'm saying this is a lot of stress on your body, and I highly believe, the less stress you have on your body, the more responsive it is. So if something's not working out, you probably didn't give it enough time. If you need more muscle, the way to do that, it's not to cram two strength workouts a day, is to give your body time and to give your body years. Either way, when you go on stage, doesn't matter in what type of PEDs you are, your muscles are not going to be mature enough. You won't have the density if you started working out 2 years ago, because this was the case with me. Yes, of course, I have genetics. Yes, I was taking PEDs, but my muscles were not mature enough to compete with other girls. So, compete completely pointless, just wearing yourself out. And the next one, nutrition. Same thing. A lot of myths out there that old school bodybuilders believe in. You need to suffer. You need to suffer a lot. You need to do only tilapia and rice. I didn't like, even before starting my competing career in wellness. I wanted to be bikini. I wanted to be a bikini competitor. And with the coach I was working, we started with straight 9 months of a lot of cardio and almost zero carbs a day. I was only using like tilapia and salads in order to get my quads smaller in order to fit in bikini, which was completely, it was impossible, firstly, and second, it was dumb. But when it comes to nutrition, right now I'm eating double the amount of calories I was eating before, and I look leaner than ever. Of course, I'm in off season. I also had my injured leg, but that's another topic. So your metabolism will be one of the most important things for your successful prep. In your off season, it's not only about training better. Yes, of course, this is one of the most important factors, but you should always aim for higher calories. Improve your metabolism, which happens how? You need to put on muscle, of course, through training, but you also need to stay on the right food. You need to eat clean. There's no other way to do that. Yes, of course, when you're off season, you could be a bit more flexible. And when I'm saying flexible, this means like switching your rice with potatoes or some type of tortilla from time to time. But you should be tracking. Your off season is where the magic happens, and your prep could be either better or worse. It really depends on the way you handle your off season, and you won't have to be on 1,000 calories at the end of your prep, suffering like hell. I do not recommend that. Next one, recovery and supplements. Recovery. You need to prioritize your sleep. And this is one of the biggest problems for enhanced athletes. And I know for a fact that male athletes are actually even more, especially if you're taking something like trenbolone and something harder, they cannot sleep. So you need to understand that if you don't have 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night, you're already you're already behind. You're letting some other competitor that is prioritizing recovery go a lot further than you. Because when you don't have enough sleep, your leptin and your ghrelin will be fucked up, which are the hormones that are signaling for you if you're hungry or you're satiated. Everything is going to be fucked up. If you're a female, this also plays a very big role in the fact if you're having your period, if you're hormonally intact or not. So definitely prioritize your sleep. Anyway, when I'm saying supplements, I'm not saying melatonin. This is something in very far off cases if you're jet lagged or if you're a night worker, if you have night shifts, this is gonna be a very hard situation. But when it comes to supplements and sleep, you need to understand the biggest reason why you're not sleeping is the stress you have in your daily life. It's your head. How fast you're falling asleep, how how much deep sleep, how much REM cycles you have during the night. It's all here. If you regulate your normal daily life, for example, I was very influenced by the relationship I had in the previous year, and I was not sleeping okay. I was doing 5, 6 hours a night just because I was constantly stressed and my body wouldn't let me sleep. When I was enhanced, it was the same thing, but when you're on drugs, again, recovery is better just because you're taking steroids. Doesn't mean your body feels good, but definitely focus on the stress you're doing to your body. You need to be able to sleep. It will be much better. And when it comes to supplements, just do creatine, electrolytes, multivitamins. I would not suggest a multivitamin, but do a blood work, see what needs to be fixed, what kind of deficit you have, and then add supplements. If you like the normal ones you should be doing at all times are creatine, omega 3, magnesium, electrolytes, as I said. You could be taking glutamine if you want, um, AIAs, not BCAs, BCAAs, you don't need them, but you need essential amino acids. And pretty much that's it. You don't need the vitamin D. Vitamin D, very important, especially if you live in a country that doesn't have as much sun. Very important. Do the lab work, see what's in a deficit and what's not. See your hormones. If you're a female, track your cycle. That's very important as well. Also, for recovery, of course, you need to be doing a massage or something. Like your body needs to be able. You shouldn't have stiff muscles. You should do your mobility. You should do at least once per month some type of body work. So very important. If recovery is 100%, you will go way further than if you obsess about nutrition, training, PDs. That's something I highly believe in. Now posing, the last one for my wellness girls, bikini girls, female athletes, actually even male athletes, but it's probably not the real thing for them. However, you need to start posing in your off season. You need to be posing every single day the chance you have. If your schedule does not allow it, do it at least 3 times a week. You cannot expect to start your prep when you start your prep to start posing and nail it. Yes, if you're a seasoned competitor, you might pull it off, but the athletes we're seeing, the Olympian athletes we're seeing, they're practicing posing year round. Doesn't matter if you're with 5 kilos up from your stage weight. What does this mean? This means that when you're leaner for stage, your posing will be easier. So if in the off season it's harder, it's for good reason. And this was one of the biggest mistakes I've done with my posing. The first years I was competing, I wasn't paying enough attention to posing. And you need to really be focused on it, because in bodybuilding, if you have the physique but you don't have the way to pose it properly, you're not winning. There are a lot of cases, a lot of examples in which girls outpose other girls. Yes, you might have the right physique. If you don't know how to show it on stage, doesn't really matter. And also, don't pose in front of mirrors. Yes, of course, in the beginning, when you're starting, you can see how this looks, how this looks. You need to remember how your body feels in every pose when you take it properly. And what I would suggest is, for example, to pose with you put your phone, but backwards this way, not like this to be able to see yourself. Put your phone backwards, record, go see where your mistake is, remember how your body feels in this pose, and you're good to go, because there are no mirrors on stage. So if you're only posing in front of mirrors, it will hurt you. I think that's kind of what I have for right now. I would love to hear what type of mistakes you've done in your career. So, yeah, see you in the next one.